Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Royal Enfield's Guerrilla 450. And if you think it's same as Himalayan with different suspension setup and alloy wheels, I kid you not, this is not the same because this is a hooligan. Initially, when this was launched, even I thought this is a gimmick from the Royal Enfield playing around with the Himalayan 450 engine, but this is a different kind of a beast. Well, to start off, this comes with 17-inch alloy wheels, both in the front and the rear. Front section is around 120 section, and the rear is 150. Well, yeah, no, 160. So, but the brake setup, the front brake comes with 310 rotor. The rear is same as Himalayan. The engine cooling system is similar to the 450 Himalayan. It is liquid cooled engine. This thing is mated with 6-speed gearbox. And the best part about this motorcycle is actually the second gear and the third gear. This thing pulls like a rocket, doesn't feel like a Royal Enfield at all. Wow! What a beauty! Shit! This thing is no more Royal Enfield, it's in KTM category. The best part about this motorcycle is that the peak power is at 8k RPM, hence the motorcycle happily rose till the 8k RPM. Damn! Oh my god! The second gear in this motorcycle is butter smooth, and the response is just like that. Just check it out. Well, this is a top end model. This comes with a digital cluster. The base model comes with an analog speedometer, and it has Bluetooth connectivity for navigation. Well, it does look unique to have a speedometer on the right side. Well, for a motorcycle that doesn't have slip and assist clutch, The clutch is pretty light. It's not that as hard as a Himalayan 411. Nice. So this bike basically has the same motor that as of a Himalayan 450, but yet the tuning is different. So the power figures are the same. It is 40 bhp and 40 newton meters of torque, but the power peaks up at 8k rpm. So since the max power is at 8k rpm, this motorcycle just revs up throughout the band. And if you're talking about the mid RPM, this is muckin' butter. Well, I remember my first ride in KTM Duke 390. That had given me smiles, a heartfelt smile. This is one of those. Well, let's say this is not very raw, or it doesn't have that sudden torque or the power like the OG KTM Duke 390, but yet this does have a great immense of power in the second gear. The sprocket setup in this motorcycle is 2 teeth less compared to the 450 Himalayan. So this one has a better top end and as well as the mid-end power. The mid-range power between 4k to 7k RPM is just beautiful. Well, I was skeptical about the exhaust design, but now when I look it on the flesh, this actually looks good and sounds pretty good as well. Well, if you get rid of those extra VFX norm things, you can have a free flow, and I'm sure that this motorcycle will sound way lot better. Well, I am 5'10" and my foot is completely planted on the ground. I would highly recommend for the persons who are thinking of buying the Duke 390 Triumph Speed 400, I would highly recommend you to test ride this one, the Guerrilla 450. This one has a different vibe. This is a proper roadster. For a motorcycle that is actually having a characteristic of a roadster, this can be used in city as well as long rides. Well, I'm not so sure about the pillion comfort, but yeah, you can manage. It's not that bad. Lot of characteristics and features are similar to the 450 Himalayan, but there are a lot of difference as well. The Himalayan 450 comes with the 17-liter fuel tank, and the Guerrilla 450 comes with 11-liter of fuel tank. So obviously the fuel range will be different, the distance, but yet 11-liter is not so bad. I am a user of R15 and version 1, and it has the tank capacity of 11-liter. Well, the fuel efficiency of the R15 is more than this. This fuel efficiency is somewhat around 30 kilometers per liter. So on an average, you can travel around 250 kilometers with full fuel tank. And 250 kilometers is not so bad, even if you're going to Ladakh or any high altitude places. Nowadays we do have petrol bunks every now and then, so the only thing is that you will have to stop the motorcycle more often compared to 450 Himalayan. So the Himalayan 450 weighs around 196 kilos, whereas this motorcycle weighs around 11 kgs lighter, around 184 kilos. And when you're riding it, this actually doesn't feel like a 180 kg motorcycle. This feels way more nimble. So since Royal Enfield has introduced this motorcycle as a roadster, this bike behaves like a proper roadster. It has good mid-range, it has great brakes, it has even top speed. I'm sure this will reach somewhere around 160 kmph. I have achieved almost 145 now. That too, I don't know, this is a test ride motorcycle, but yet this went till 145 kmph without any effort. So with the road tires, I'm pretty sure that this motorcycle is going to be very much capable than this setup right now. So if you're a person who will be riding only on the road and street, slap on some road tires like Pirelli or Apollo. This bike will perform like a crazy roadster. I'm sure that this will not be something like supermoto bike, but since the bike is a bit heavier compared to the supermoto bike, but with road tires, this will be a very interesting motorcycle. Famous riders like reviewers like Sagar Sheldekar and even Big Bear Bangalore have tried this motorcycle with road tires, and they do have very much positive feedback. Now that Royal Enfield has stepped up in many things, bringing modern things on a classic retro motorcycles or the classic motorcycle, I wish they had brought few things on this motorcycle. One thing would have been slipper clutch, slip in the sense slip and assist clutch. That would have been a very helpful thing. And they have two riding modes, and I'm kind of becoming greedy over here. They could have added one more off-road mode where people like me have an option to switch off everything, ABS, everything, and just go off in the trails. The ground clearance on this motorcycle is around 169 mm. Well, not so bad. This is good enough for city rides. Not so sure about trail rides. Would know better once I get a chance to go trails on this motorcycle. But I'm pretty sure that with the proper off-road tires, this motorcycle has great capability to go off-road as well. One good thing about this motorcycle is that for the people who are short and had problem with the seat height of Duke 390 and Speed 400, this motorcycle is going to be a very good option, because the seat height on this motorcycle is just 780 mm, and this will be very accessible, and the seat over here is very narrow, and it will help the short riders to manage this motorcycle very easily in city or bumper to bumper traffic. And speaking of engine refinement or vibration, to be frank, this is a very refined engine, the Sherpa 450. There is a slight buzz around 6.5k RPM, but I don't know, I was never much of a complainer when it comes to vibration in a motorcycle. But the vibration on the foot pegs and tank is on slight minimum side, which is manageable, I guess. The heat management in this motorcycle is pretty good. Doesn't get as heated as the old Duke 390 which I own, or other bigger cc motorcycle. Around past 10 years, Royal Enfield is actually doing a lot of things which most of the motorcycle are not daring enough to do. For example, in India, the Cafe Racer was initially launched by Royal Enfield, and other than Impulse, to start off a dual purpose motorcycle, the first persons to start after the Impulse was Royal Enfield. I was very much excited about the 411 engine when it was launched, and later when they launched the 650 Interceptor and Continental, that got my attention. And the next motorcycle that actually got my attention was the Guerrilla 450, because Royal Enfield was the first person who actually thought of bringing a proper roadster in the mid-weight segment or the mid-cc segment. And we have to admit that they have done a great job with the combination of Sherpa 450 engine and all the setup this motorcycle has been involved with. I still stand on the point that if you are looking into buy something in 400cc motorcycle, Guerrilla 450 is one of the options that you have to see before you decide between the Duke 390 or the Triumph 400 or the Dominar 400 or even the Maverick 450. So yeah, that's it. That's all for this video. I'll meet you in the next one. And if you're riding a bike, do not forget to wear the helmet. And if you're driving a car, do not forget to wear the seatbelt. Until then, bye bye. Take care. See you. Bye.